Hello, and welcome to today's dev stream. I hope you are all doing well today on this Friday afternoon. We're starting a bit early because I'm going to have to finish a bit early because I am have stuff on this evening, so I have to get ready for that. So, how is everyone? Hello to Snowtwig. In the chat. Hope you are all doing well, and let me know what you are up to today, if you have any interesting projects going on, if you're working, if you're just relaxing. And what I'm going to be getting on with today is some more work on Streamline. So last stream we managed to get this showing up where we could switch between different editors, either the stream editor or the tracks editor. And what we want to do today is to get this actually doing something semi-useful. So the first thing we want to be able to do is to be able to take a track either from here in the tracks view or some other playlist and drag them onto other playlists. We want to be able to add audio files into the app, so dragging those either onto playlists or onto the tracks. And then we want to be able to actually sort these tracks up here. When we're in playlists, we want to be able to have a column that lets us manually order them. And then we want to be able to actually toggle these columns on and off, because if I bring up the music app and in the songs view, now we're not going to have all of this, but there are an awful lot of columns here that you can add for various bits of metadata. So we want to add a fair few of those and actually get them displaying and allow the user to toggle them, and then potentially pick like a default set, because we don't need all of these displaying at once. But we want to pick a decent default. So that is what we're going to be working through today. I've also been starting work dealing with some 3D stuff. I have been playing around learning Blender. And last night, while I was watching Kurzuk's stream, I was actually just messing around and thinking, what can I make that's fairly basic? I thought, wanted to make a monitor. That's fairly basic to do. It just requires a bit of extrusion and a few different shapes and so on. And I could apply some textures and did a basic animation, which just rotates it around, just to get used to how do you actually do all this stuff. So what I did... oh, it quit QuickTime. Again, is it still there? There we go. So this is what I did, and you can see it's incredibly simple. It's just a plane with a basic monster that I've added on. I added like a texture that is slightly metallic, slightly glossy black, and then a gradient texture on the screen. But if I play it, just rotates around, and it's very, very basic. But this is the first real 3D work I've done in about 20 years. So it's just learning how to actually play around with some of this stuff, just learn a few of the tools. But I have actually worked out what my next project is going to be. And this is going to be recreating, where have I put it? actually shut this off. Don't know where I have gone and put the video of it. I've got an assignment. This I had to open. Oh, it was in here. Dude. Oh wait, is it if I go into Dropbox, here we are. So my next project is going to be re-implementing this. Hey Sinister, I was just showing off the first 3D stuff that I have done in about 20 years or so, which is a very basic animation of like a monitor that I've built with some simple primitives and some simple shading, and I made it rotate. So just some basic extrusions and bevels and stuff like that in Blender, just to play around. But my next project is going to be recreating this that I've shown off before. Because this, I won't do all the stuff where you can turn the texture stuff off, I'm just going to do an animation, but this is just a jumping lamp going around in a circle and seeing how I can, seeing if I can just do that in Blender, because I think that will teach me quite a lot of stuff, because I'll be able to do a lot more texture stuff, lighting coming from objects, getting used to like armatures and rigging and stuff like that on the lamp, and doing some more complex stuff. And doing some more complex animation and stuff like that. So I think not trying to make it like too overly realistic, trying to keep it like fairly low poly, it will just teach me a bit more about all these different things. So I think it will be yeah, it could be tricky, but yeah, it should be super good practice. But having a project so that I can learn is pretty, like, is going to be useful to have, because going straight in and saying, okay, I want to build the environment for my stream, when I do that, well, that's good, but there's stuff that I need to learn first. I want to get a bit better at Blender and messing around in Blender before I do that, because like I said before, the Unity side of things, that won't be too hard for me to pick up. But I've done a bit of Unity before, I know the absolute basics there. It's the Blender side that is going to be the more difficult part of it. So if I can get this working where I'm just doing basic rigging, because I mean that's literally, you've got a lamp, an arm, and the base. So when I'm rotating it, I've just been rotating these bits and pieces. And the thing is, it works effectively the same way as Blender, because I believe in the code I have these effectively parented to one another in a mesh, and I'm just tweaking the angles of it, which is effectively what rigging does, is it starts tweaking angles on the mesh and forming the mesh. So I'll probably try to make it look a bit better than this, but it's just going to be an interesting project to work on. I mean, I may be tempted to work on it somewhat on stream and do some, maybe stream over the weekend playing around with it and seeing what I can do. But for now, I may not do it over the weekend actually. What I may do, possibly next weekend or next week during the week, because so I have been using Blender on my iMac, and I mean it works reasonably well, but when it comes to any sort of rendering and stuff like that, oh, it's slow. It's very slow. So when I was building the monitor, I was doing that on my gaming PC, because my gaming PC has a fairly powerful NVIDIA graphics card in it, which makes stuff happen a lot faster. So hopefully next week I will have my new Mac, and therefore my work machine will be a lot faster. So then I can do a lot more Blender fun. Right, so what we are going to do is try and get it where you can drag a track onto a playlist. And that shouldn't be too difficult to do, because what you're going to do is when you drag from here, we'll add the model ID of the track to the pasteboard, and then we'll be able to see, okay, can you actually drop it onto something, which if it's a track ID, you can't drop it onto tracks because it's already there. It can't exist and not being tracked, but you can drag it onto any playlist. So the first thing we want to do is in our tracks view controller, and not in the data source here, we want the pasteboard writer. So table view pasteboard writer for row, and what we are going to do here is God let track equals self.model.track go. I'll return now. And then we're going to return. Actually, we could do self.viewModel. Don't need to have that. We can do it as a one-line thing. Chaining. Dot ID dot pasteboard item. So we return the pasteboard item for this. Then what we want to do is go into our source list view model. Now, in the view controller, we're already accepting model IDs, and we're already handling dropping model IDs. So what we're going to do in here no, because we don't have the information on that. Okay, so if the model type is equal to list track that model type, and let playlist equals We want well, the playlist. Yeah, we want the playlist. We want playlist node. A playlist, and we want to get the track. There. Set up model controller dot add track to playlist. And true. Also, if id dot model type so this node is playlist. I hope that builds. Thus. Make that discardable result. So that will silence that warning, because sometimes you need to have this and sometimes you don't. Alright, so we've got a playlist here. So what we're going to do is drag through bar. Just dragging it, but it's not. Hi Miss Shabby, how are you doing today? Oh, because I've done playlist there. Oh, the music's a bit loud. Oh, have I? Is that because I... That is a bit better. I think it's because I tweaked the volume in iTunes earlier when I was messing about with some stuff. Alright, so let's try this again. If I drag through bar... Oh, it's still not letting me drag onto that. Oh, because the x will be -1. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have a sourceless node. Then... you're doing fine. That's good to hear. I am not doing too badly myself. Now I am pondering if I can make this code better. I feel like I should be able to put this on the sourceless node and make this a lot easier to deal with. We'll do that once we get this done. But yeah, I am doing pretty well. I'm a little bit tired. I've been out all this morning running around doing errands and getting stream sorted. Here we go. Okay, so just to prove, there is nothing in playlist 2, there is in playlist 1, so I should be able to drag through bar from there. onto there. And I can. I should then be able to, from playlist 1, drag track 3 onto there. And I can. Now, one thing that we do have is I can drag track 3 onto playlist 1, and track 3 is showing up twice, which we don't want to. We don't want to disallow it because there's no problem with that. I think iTunes Music just shows a warning, so I think that should be okay. So let's tidy this up, and I have just realized that is going to want to be a whatchamacallit, brain's gone. Array. There we go. That's how good programming is going today. I am forgetting some of the most fundamental data types in the whole of the industry. Right. So can drop item. With IDs onto node child. So we may be able to move this out of here. And the way we will do that, we have our sourceless nodes here. So we can have a so we want a function which is can drop model IDs, array of model ID at child index int a boolean. That's going to return false. And what this should allow us to do is effectively delete this method and move it up. All this will be a duplicate of this, and then in here we'll just add stuff in. We will need to make that handle multiple, the add track, it should be add tracks, but that should be easy enough to do. So so generic sources node you can't grab onto, a header sources node you can't drag onto, the tracks sources node, at the moment you can't drag onto. So at the moment we have can drop model ID. It's going to be easier keeping the different drop types separate. So for a stream sources node, actually no, it is not that. It is going to be, oh, that's a fair point. Is a header sources node that you are dropping on. So, how am I going to handle that? Well, a particular node can have a title and Yeah, it can have a title and then a type. So if we do that, let drop type. We'll do it as an array just in case. Model object dot. Oh, it's just a model type. And our drop types are going to be model type. What is everyone up to today? Have you got any interesting plans? Anything you're working on? Anything you want to share? Chance contains through them because we do a guard execution minus one, else and false. So if the index is minus one, we return if drop types does not contain a model type of anything, we return false, otherwise we return true. Going to start refactoring the code data stack of Dementor, be following MVVM, and then pretty excited about it. Oh, that's good. MVVM does make quite a big difference when you start going down that route. It certainly, I've found, makes the code a lot tidier. You found an interesting video on it on YouTube. Code data Swift UI app using the MVVM design pattern and then its fetch results control. Interesting. Yeah, MVVM really works well because you can use it for Swift UI or you can use it for app kit or UI kit or whatever, so it helps abstract your logic away. Let's see, working on a Paper Mario inspired project. Oh my god. That looks amazing. I mean, the little jelly cat. Oh, that looks so cool. Can't wait to see what it looks like once it's finished. was looking. So is the Jellycat like just several layers that are like grouped together in a single mesh, or is it like one mesh that you've extruded out somehow, or like is it actually done like origami, or have you faked it? Because either way, it looks really good. The tricky part is when SwiftUI get introduced, it provides a property wrapper for fetching core data, which means never learned how to do it properly with MVVM. I mean, SwiftUI and core data are sort of like, they seem kind of weird to put together because, for example, SwiftUI, you could not build that in Objective-C, but core data you could not build in Swift. So it's one of those things where you've got like probably Apple's most Objective-C heavy framework with Apple's most Swift heavy framework, and trying to meld the two together is kind of difficult. I mean, I've not gone core data here because I'm reusing the model stuff that I had for Coppice. And the reason I didn't go core data for Coppice is that core data in documents is even now a bit of a pain. Now, in the past, I've always used core data, but it's got to the point where I have given up on it for what I need, because I don't necessarily need it, and for the places where I could use it, it's just not the best suited. And I'm very much someone who is like an advocate for core data where it is very useful. A bunch of folded planes, so it is origami. That's impressive. Being able to get all that working is pretty impressive, because I'm still at the point where it's like fumbling around with all the hotkeys when I'm trying to do like extrusions and stuff like that, so. Right. Going to stick a light on it. No, not that dark outside. It is very cloudy, and it's just that annoying bit where it's like light enough that you feel odd putting a light on, but dark enough that it's going to help if you do put one on. Right, so we have our header sources node implemented there. The other thing we want is a playlist sources node. Can drop these, and we're just going to turn index equal, well, yes, in this case we want the index to equal -1. And we just want to guard that the model ID dot model type is equal to track dot model type. So we will that. Well, that should effectively eliminate the need for this. Potentially we could do it where it would eliminate the need for that as well. Because what we can do is drop model ID. Child index. That's going to return false. We're not going to be able to determine what the exact node is. So I think what might make this easier is splitting header source list node out into 3 different source list nodes. So we'll keep the header source list node, but we'll get rid of the drop types and we'll create explicit names for them. So what we're going to do is going to have class library source list node. Do that. Add onto that. Now we'll keep it. Library. So you got library, stream, track. No, it isn't. Playlist. So what this should help us is do here again, model ID dot model type playlist model type. So in this one we need it to be a stream. And we can do the same here where we're just going to double check that we can drop this. So guard can drop model IDs at index. Else return false. Over here. Library source node. Okay, so we're down here. So for the stream's source list node, check that we can drag with the correct stream. We want to guard that we can drop. And then we want to let stream equal. Oh no. Yeah. Is self dot no, we don't need self, is model controller dot streams collection. Oh no. So even though I'm gonna let streams equal model IDs compact map. Let's just do model controller dot stream collection dot object with the and then with the streams we can do model controller dot move streams above streamer index. We have to copy this and do the same thing here. With the playlist collection and above playlist index playlist. And then here similar thing again. Then you drop it on. Get the tracks. Want add tracks to playlist. Right, what we need to do up here to add track 1, track 2, track 3 and delete these. R track and track. Or track. Yeah, let's just track 50. Oh, playlist tracks, country playlist track. Playlist. Okay. Go here and through. Through and okay. I can actually delete all of the drag and drop stuff. Go up to here, and what we can do God let process node equal item process node also return nothing. And if we have model IDs, so the count is written 0, and lossless node dot can drop model ID at x, then we can return generic. So that simplifies that down, and this down here. Again, we're going to get the model IDs, and again, if model ID dot count is greater than 0, then we can do let lossless node item as node false. And we do lossless node drop item at index of dot model controller. The model ID. So hopefully that works and is a lot cleaner because it's all done. So I should be able to drag that there, which I can. Be able to drag that to there, which I can. I should not be able to drag that anywhere else there. And then I should be able to drag a track onto there, which I can. I can't drag it onto them. I can drag it over there. Okay. So that all works. So we can add tracks to playlists. So that's the first bit of drag and drop done. The next bit of drag and drop is going to be adding audio files to the app, where you can drag some audio, drop it into the app, and it will populate as many fields as it can. So, what fields do we have on the track? Title, duration, artist, album, BPM, genre, year, tags. Well, let's add a few more. And we'll add a to-do, add the to distance. We want a date added. It's going to be a date. Self. Last played. Last played. Date. An optional date. Set. Did change. Played old value. what other things will we need to keep track of? Have a look. Because theoretically, one thing people could do is use this as a music player to replace the music app. So we've got beats per minute, album, got the artist. Track number, size we can generate, that could be good to cache it. Kind would be useful. So the audio and the file type. Let's add some of these as potential additionals. So potential addition. We have track number. We have file size, file type. Number of plays will be useful. And then sort values. So for title, artist, album, artist. Actually, that's another one you add. Album artist, because we got an artist for the track, but the album artist is usually something different. Rating. Rating is something that could be added in future. The thing is, if this stuff is there, the metadata is going to be on the files. The files are going to exist on disk. So if you're going to have the files, you're going to, if I want to add additional stuff in future, I can always just scan the files for the metadata in a future version. So that flushes out what we want. So adding audio file. I can't remember whether I said I did finally get my monitor arm in. That arrived after quite a saga with FedEx, where we said, oh, it's shipped on a Tuesday and it's coming on a Friday. So I waited in all Friday and it didn't arrive. And then he said, oh, it's coming last Friday. Okay, so I waited around and nope, it didn't come. And then they said it was coming on Monday. And by this point, I didn't believe them. But it did finally make it here, taking several weeks to arrive from Belgium. Just like, how does it take so long to deliver something from one of the closest European countries to the UK into the UK? But apparently FedEx have some new system or something, or warehouse issues or something like that that caused the delay. But I finally got that in and got one of my monitors mounted to it, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. I'm probably going to order another one. I may order a third because I have 3 monitors, but I've actually got a somewhat different setup in terms of my monitors. I'm trying something a bit different. If I bring up my displays, so this is my setup at the moment. So this one here is my iMac, so a 27-inch display. This is my Gigabyte 28-inch display, which is going to be my new main monitor. So that's probably going to swap over here, and then over here is going to be a 27-inch 1440p Dell monitor. This is also a 27-inch Dell 1440p monitor, but I have set that up vertically. Now, when you set it up vertically, effectively you don't get much height movement because, I mean, how high up is that on me? Probably about 2 inches down from the top or so of the stand. So it's effectively on the base, and the key thing for getting a monitor arm is having the space underneath. And if the monitor's going down that far, because I mean the iMac, I've already stood the iMac up, so the base of the iMac is probably here, and that my desk level is right below this right monitor. You don't really need a stand, or you don't need a monitor arm if the bottom of your monitor is on the stand, like literally on the foot of the stand. So I may be able to get away without that, but I've been trying the vertical monitor. I can't remember who recommended it. It might have been someone in Finite's stream. Said they had a 27-inch monitor vertically, and it's actually been pretty good for shoving all of my communication stuff on. So when I'm working, I have Slack on there, messages, mail playing for my work email, I have Twitter on there. When I get things properly set up, I may be able to have my streaming set up where I have all of my streaming stuff on there. So it's a pretty good setup, and I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is actually swapping things around. So I'm going to have the vertical monitor on my left, and then on my right I'm going to have in the middle the 28 and on the right a 27-inch. So basically this is going to be flipped around. And this little one here is my iPad, because I finally, a month before WWDC, decided to update my iPad to iOS 15. Like the device that I use all the time, probably more even than iMacs, I never updated to the latest OS until a month before WWDC. I have been so burned by that Mac OS update that I am incredibly untrusting of future OS updates. Like my phone, I'll update it fine. If that messes up, okay, I'll just reinstall it. The iPad's a bigger deal, the Mac's a bigger deal. I'm very, very wary of updating them. I know there are new OS updates now, but I'm going to be very wary about updating them until I get the new machine, because then I'm going to have multiple machines that I can use if something goes wrong. I mean, I technically do now, but But yeah, but I've been using universal control and it works so good. It is one of those magic Apple features. Just being able to, like, I'm here and if I type a message into OBS, so that is from my iMac. Now using the same keyboard and mouse, exactly the same keyboard and mouse, but I managed to move the cursor over onto Twitch on my iPad and actually hook things up there. So that has been pretty fantastic getting that, because it just makes it so much easier when I have like Twitch open. If I'm on Twitch while I'm working and just wanting to chat or something, I don't have to put my iPad towards me when I start typing and make sure I've got the keyboard. I just shift the mouse over. Because the problem is I've then got to remember to shift the mouse back over to Xcode before I start typing code, because there have been a few times where I've almost typed code into the stream that I was watching. So, let's get back to this. So we're dragging audio files in. Now we have the metadata here, where we'll actually try to populate the metadata for various bits and pieces, so we'll be able to expand that out even more. But what I want to do is allow you to actually drag the track in. What we want to have is not have there, do I? Nothing where I'm currently dragging something. So what I probably want is a file manager. And not an NS file manager, creating like a track file manager, where I can have one centralized place to handle all operations to do with tracks. So if I delete a track, I can tell the track manager I'm deleting a track, and it can show an alert potentially. Or yeah, it could show an alert asking, do you want to move the file to the trash as well? What else be able to do? I mean, obviously you add files in, it would get the stuff. I mean, it could handle the track metadata, and then the other key thing is actually, here's a track, get me the file for that track. Now the question is whether we do something similar to the music app. So if you go into music, so you have Okay, so music's there. We have iTunes. So you have your album artwork. iPod game, don't care about. Then you have where it goes in. Go in, you have that, have your album artwork, you have unknown album. So you see it is moving stuff around, because if I go in, and what was that, Alanis Morissette, I wrote unknown album. If I bring up this, I go to song, I search for Alanis Morissette. What is the album? I don't think it is. Hell. Yeah, it is Jagged the Skull. If I change that. Jagged Little Hill. It hasn't been. Was it only the album when Jagged in? If I drag that out and drag it in. Oh. Okay, so it doesn't move it after, so it's basically it goes in artist, album, even if you change stuff after. Okay, that is good to know, because we can do something similar then. Because then it can be in with music, Streamline, and tracks. Then we can just do artist, album. Yeah. Work. Okay. So before we get started on that, I'm going to go and make myself another cup of tea because I've only had 2 today and I'm feeling the effects of not having enough caffeine. So I'm going to get myself some more caffeine and I'm going to go in and start working on this file manager. Should be quite interesting. So, I will see you all in a few minutes.
Distant silhouettes, empty horizons. Sing a still duet, affections tighten. Kindred ribbons spring us from our tethers. Rivers drifting vivid and together. Stay by my side. Soft songs in harmony. Stay by my side. Companions
Okay, I am back. So, let's get into doing our file manager. What I'm actually tempted to do is maybe spend another 40 minutes or so on this, and then maybe, as it's Friday, spend a little bit of time playing around in Blender. So we're going to have a base URL. This is going to be the URL that everything else comes on. So our basic structure is we're going to go into tilde music, the user's music folder. And then in there, we're going to have, well, we're going to be tilde music / streamline. That is almost always going to be our base URL. Now, from there, we're going to have library, which is probably going to be a JSON file. You're going to have library as a JSON file, then you're going to have tracks. Then tracks is going to have artist. And we're going to basically copy the music app here. So you can have artist and unknown artist, and an artist can have album. Unknown album. Because to begin with, what we're going to do is force it to actually manage things itself. Now, in theory, because it's just pointing to a URL, we could have it where you can drag stuff in and it won't copy stuff in, but then there will be issues. For now, we're just going to have it where you have to copy stuff in. It just makes life a bit easier for us for managing things. So we're going to do self.base URL equals base URL. Private. What we might also do, func file manager, a private let file manager equal file manager. Now, if I remember correctly, so we have our own file manager. So private func So what we're going to make this base URL, most of the time, this is actually going to be tilde music / streamline / because this is just for managing the tracks. So what we are going to do is want to ensure that exists. So we're going to set up directory, and so file manager dot, actually, there's anything not used. File manager dot, okay. File manager dot dot guard So if that equals false, so if a file exists at the path, then we go down here. If is directory equals true, so we want to guard is directory is true, otherwise now if is directory is true, then we return. Otherwise we're going to delete, well, we're going to move item at self.base URL to deleting last path component dot appending path component. Well, it's not going to have a file extension, is it? So we can just utilize path component, appending path component, valid tracks. So we're going to move that out of the way. So if the file exists, it's directory, we're good. Otherwise, we are going to go here and then file manager default. Create directory at self.base.url directory. What we're going to do is make this throws, make this throw, so that we can do a try and a try. Try again. Right. So create and set the directory. So what do we want to do with this? Well, add files at URLs. Throws, and that can convert to tracks. Got remove files for tracks. Yes, rows. That file track. Actually, we don't need to get file for track, do we? Because the track is going to hold on to its URL. Because its source is going to be a file URL. So this is just adding and removing files and making sure that they are there. Creating the directories we need and so on. Yeah, my brain is completely shot. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop programming. I may do another programming stream over the weekend. Let's switch over and do some Blender. Just going to add some notes on here. What am I doing? Get metadata, dead artist, known, add folder, okay, okay, so stop that really, and let's open up Blender. Thing. Okay, so what I want to do is, what I'm going to be doing is trying to rebuild this jumping lamp. So I think the first thing to do is build our scene. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to add a plane. I'm going to scale that right up. Now that should do. And then actually we do want to queue on because we're gonna do a loop around here. So if I scale that down like so, it out here big. Okay, so I want to it along that. Probably around there, and around Y to about there, because we want like basically going around on a track. So that's the viewpoint that we want. So I believe, where is it? Align view option. Camera. Focal bit. Grab. Come around here, jump over the fence, go around. That fence looks a little tall, so what I am going to hit there. Okay, I believe not very good textures, but I do still have the original textures. I'm going to use those to begin with. Okay, so let's add a material. Where is it? Oh. Alright, so you... actually scale. Next. Next chord. I mean, it's repeating it, but I kind of want it to be smaller. Oh well. Alright, and then for this, I noticed. Actually, brick text. Probably do want. Okay, let's not load order. Let's get the texture. That is going to be okay. Somewhere in here to UV unwrap. Oh, UV editing. There we go. Okay, so for this, there. Oh, my side button actually rotates. That is useful to know. I was just looking for how you do UV unwrap or UV mapping, and that was in the shader. I need to be in the UV editor. So do here. So that is our face. But what I want is that. Oh yeah. That face. That. So, Sinister, is there a way that I can detach a face? Because most of this, like round the side, it's not too bad. but the top and the bottom, well, I mean the top at least, I want to sort of detach because I want to rotate it and tweak it slightly, because that is those.
Casted of inclusion's warm embrace, peering from a solitary space. The sting of rejection leaves its scars upon my face. I will run, I will fall.
Okay, so is that on the UV editor or on the object editor? Okay, so if I select the object, okay, and then you smart UV jet. Okay. I just click OK here. Let's just see what that does. Okay. And if I okay, yeah, that works. Okay, so you want to make the island margin 0.3. So if I undo that, so I will select that and you smart unwrap island margin 0.3. Okay, there we go. That looks a lot better. I was wondering, like, I've seen it done. It's like, how do you do that? Okay, so now I can texture these a bit better. So, for example, these I want to rotate. I'm gonna have to change. I feel like I want to change some of Blender's hotkeys because it's like Control is snap and Shift is you, like when you're doing grabs and rotates. Control is snap, Shift is do more accurate. But every other program I've ever used, Shift is snap. Right. So, what I also want to do with these is to scale them up. About there. This one about for the top, what we want to do that one's the bottom. Don't care about the bottom. So we're rotating, control like that. Then what we can probably get away with is there. Uh, now let's. Is there a way to resize from a point other than the center? If I scale, is it possible to like resize from where the 2D cursor is or something like that? Ideally what I want to do is line it up on one edge and just scale it up from there. It's not as big a deal when you're doing 3D, but when you're doing 2D, it's very useful. I mean, I can just... that, and... oh, right. One that looks like a pair of linked chains. On this one, where are we? So we've got snap, pivot. Bounding box center, medium point, individual. So this is where I would do it. So from the 2D cursor, that works a lot better. Thank you very much. See, this is why it's useful doing this on stream, because I have people who know far more than me able to tell me this stuff. Okay. I think that might need to be 3. Oh, if we scale Y. Do that, and let's just quickly jump there. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Here, want the height of the bounding box. Right, this will be same height. Okay, I think that looks good enough for now for a basic wall, and learning some UV mapping. So what I'm going to a wall there, because what I'll probably do at some point is play around with like displacement maps and stuff in Photoshop, at least to try and get some some 3D texture into this with the bricks. But it shouldn't be too hard to do, because you can just it's just the lines between the bricks. So we've got wall, we have our grass. Oh. Selection. Background. Okay, now we want to build a light. So, let's start with a cylinder. Let's do this. Around there. That should be enough in terms of the vertices. Let's just that about let's say 5 centimeters should work. Okay, so let's go in here. Nope, wrong thing. Not that. There we go. So, if where has QuickTime gone? What did I have? So I had a bar going up and a bar going up. So what I might do is make this, because I'm looking, because I've got a lamp here. So rather than a sphere, what I will probably do, let's bring up here and draw out. Oh yeah, I forgot. Do I need to turn that off? Okay. Well, what I'm probably going to do is have a small cylinder coming. Probably a small cylinder here for a hinge at the bottom. Like a rod or something coming up that goes to another cylinder up here. And a rod that's going to go to the lamp. So... what I want to add, let's get all as one mesh. So I want Tell you what, Sinister, something I've been thinking for a while. How would you feel about being a mod? No pressure to do anything, but it's just a case of if you see stuff like that, it gives you a chance to just quickly ban and get rid of it. That's probably about what we want. Don't want it to be quite that. Okay, let me set you up as... I mean, I'm technically running the channel and I have no idea what I'm doing. It's actually pretty simple to do. I go to... Oh, actually, can I do it from here? Cannot. Okay, community. Sales manager. You. No, this is something. Add as a moderator. There you go, you should now have the moderator roles. So when you click on someone, you should be able to time them out and ban them. Like I say, there's no pressure or anything, it's just, as you're usually in chat, it just gives you the opportunity to catch those things if I'm not paying attention to them. I think it does also give you like the opportunity to manage a few other bits and pieces, but I'm not sure, but it's showing you up as a mod now. That's quite alright. Thank you for watching and being around all the time, and it's just nice to have people watching, and like I said, there's no pressure or anything on you. It's just it just gives you some tools if someone is misbehaving while you're around and watching. What am I doing? Probably in wireframe. So this needs go. Have? You know what? Do that. All that. Let's do it as a bunch of separate objects because we can then merge them later. A single mesh. So we're going to add our cylinder again. That is good. We want to rotate along here. And oh. Oh. And snapping on. That is why it wasn't working. Okay. So what we're going to do. What have I done here? Rotate, but I can't pan. Okay, now I can pan.
So many nights and days alone in this vessel to search for a
Why when you... Yeah, why when you zoom in does it
hours to decide.
make it so that you can't pan? That seems like the inverse of what you need. It's like you zoom out and you can pan loads, but if you zoom in, the thing is, I've worked at a smaller scale. Like if I was to file open recent donut, let's save this as so I'm at a small scale, and I can pan around okay. Don't think there's anything different going on. Go around fairly easily there. I suppose, yeah. Okay. Well, let's make it bigger then. And we can always scale it down afterwards. Hey Avers, how are you doing? Welcome everyone to the channel. Hope you're all having a wonderful time from the stream. How was your stream? What were you getting up to? And welcome to the channel, everyone else. If you haven't been here before, I am Martin Pilkington. I run a small software company in the northwest of England, and when I'm not doing contract work, I am working on my own stuff, which at this exact moment is actually messing around in Blender and learning how to use Blender. What I was doing previously was, if I can find where Xcode has gone, working on an app called Streamline, which I'm doing, which is going to be for... Oh. Okay. People value so that I can build it. Which is going to be an app to help you keep track of stream music, be that for streaming on Twitch, or if you're running some sort of game or event or something and you want virtually like a soundboard of playlists, if that makes sense. But that is what I've been building. Unfortunately, my brain is a bit fuzzy this afternoon, so I've decided to give up on that for the day and instead play around in Blender and learn how to actually use it. Let's see. Had a lot of fun playing with audio alerts. My audio alerts are very simple at the moment. Was it just choosing new alerts or figuring out new ways to use them on the stream, or was it audio alerts inside an app? Right, so let's add another cylinder. What we're going to do is shrink this down, probably about there. Okay, I hope you have a great weekend, and hope you get everything that you need to get done this weekend done. And thanks again for raiding, it's much appreciated. Hey Snowtwig, I have given up on programming for the day and I am messing around in Blender trying to recreate an animation that I did many years ago. One that was actually created primarily in OpenGL. So this was entirely programmed in code. All the modeling, the textures, the animation was all written up in code in Java using OpenGL and a bunch of maths. So I'm going to try and recreate this here. So I have the background at the moment here, which if I put some shading on, we have some very rough and basic textures. But what we're doing is messing around with the lamp, and the whole purpose for doing all of this is that I want to improve my streams. I want to make them a lot more interesting, have a lot more going on, and so what I am planning to do is build a 3D environment, much like streamers like Dory Swift, like Gwillem, Wrong thing. I want to grab. No, I want to grab. G for grab. Brain to work. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to that's a face and extrude. I'm going to scale down and extrude. So, let's do that again. Scale down. There. And then we're going to grab and go up just a bit there. And then let's pull that down. There. And then go up to the cylinder. If I grab this and move it along the y-axis here, so what I need to do is I think this needs to be bigger, like for the size of this. I mean, I think first of all that needs to be a bit smaller, but this here needs to be bigger, so let's get rid of that. Hey Megan, yeah, doing some Blender stuff. But let's bring up, where we're gonna put the jumping lamp. So this is a university project that I did. A animating jumping lamp written entirely in Java and OpenGL, which, as you don't believe it, like you don't know how it could be done in Java. I believe. Yep, here we go. So I open this in Xcode. This is my jumping lamp, where I created all of the controls and stuff, like the start, stop. A lot of the code is actually stuff that I was given. Thanks for the follow, yo, David O. It's much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the stream. So what? Well, it isn't rendered. This is live 3D. So as you can see, I'm here. I'm clicking the lamp light on and off, and the texture. So it's closer to like a 3D game or rendering it live in here. So this isn't all ray traced at all. This is just all live as though it was a 3D game. But it wasn't like written using the game engine or anything. Effectively what happens is when the animation is running, this gets drawn multiple times a second, gets called to actually display things. So for our camera, here we have our camera, which is GLU, and we just look at a certain point in a certain direction. When it's running, let's see, progress animation. this just does a bunch of calculation. So for example, when the lamp X is less than 100 and the lamp Z is 0, then we just increase the lamp's X value. So it's basically shifting it along the X until it gets above 100, and the lamp Z is lamp Z divided by 20 is less than pi. We basically actually rotate the lamp around. So we increase the angle of the lamp, we shift the X, and then we shift the Z, and this is just basically shifting it by a curve, so the X and the Z move in a semicircle around. Then we move it back towards the camera, so it's just going the other way, and then we do the other semicircle and we go back to 0. For the jumping, we have a bunch of lamp angles that we do, where basically as things go, I'm just adjusting the angles of all the various things. For the jumping here, we're just adjusting the lamp Y, and yeah, it's literally just all the stuff that you would do here, where you're adjusting angles and stuff like that. It's just the same thing, but done in code. Like to draw the lamp, because if you have a look, the lamp is, you have a cylinder, sphere, cone, and I believe, yeah, a squashed sphere up there. So what I have is get the color, I draw the base, so I draw a solid cylinder, translate it, rotate it. For the lower necks, another solid cylinder, translate it where I need to, rotate it. Within there, a sphere, and within there, a cylinder, and then a cone, and then finally, another sphere. And I add a material that does an emission on it, so that is the light. So it's fairly easy. Like here, I'm just drawing a plane, I draw the wall. So it's, nothing is all that complex, it's just calculating the maths for how to do it. And all of this here is essentially what Blender is doing for me. It is effectively like when I do grab and translate along the Y, it's effectively just doing a translate Y call on this mesh, just as my stuff did. And then all the graphics APIs just drawn it for me. So that's roughly how it all works. So what I'm doing is, so we've got our base, we've got this here. Let's add a cylinder that is going to be our rotation. Now, the question is, how exactly do I want that to work? I have an idea. I'm going to do a little bit of cheating. Cheating in animation and 3D. Shocking, I know. We're going to make the radius about that now. And the depth about there. And we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Right, what I am going to do is go in here, select that face, select that face, fix. extrude opposite direction. I see. Remember. Normal, I believe it was. I select that and select that. Local that I want. I haven't had much experience with Blender. I mean, I only started learning it like last weekend and maybe just before that. So all I've really done is follow a tutorial on how to make a donut, and I haven't completed that. I did a little animation of a spinning monitor last night, and this is the next thing I'm doing. So it's still getting used to all the hotkeys and everything. Because I've done 3D before, but it was such a long time ago that it's taken a while to remember. Remember, I thought it was normal. Am I? Oh no, sorry. Extrude along normals. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so global. So nope. No, it's extrude individual. That is what I'm wanting. Oh, it's still. Use it each individual face separately along normals. Ah, there we go. Now how do you do that with a hotkey? That is Shift 6. Okay, so if I have those faces and I Shift 6. Oh. Now let's do this time again. Oh, that's a fair point. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to do that. And I probably want to be local now. This is why it's good to have a project to learn them, because you learn all these things. I want to extrude, right click, and then scale. Okay. How about this? Let's Right. Well, we're going to scale this down just a bit, then we're going to extrude it out. just a bit, and then to extrude. Like so. What I want to do now, let's see. This kind of thing I usually do E for extrude, and in this case I do scale snap to the x-axis. Yeah, I mean it's scaled how I want it to. What I'm wanting to do though is do this on the other side. So I think what I'm going to do is I don't want to do that. I want to select the vertices. I want to scale. I want to grab along the x-axis. Wait, where's that x? Oh, because of local double x. Go. Bring that along to there. And what I basically want to do is mirror the mesh from this point. So I'm assuming mesh mirror along the x global. That's all that. Mesh mirror. That would be along. Oh, that's a fair point. Before I do that, let's hit Control A, rotation and scale, and then it will be along the X. So if I go in, select now, and mesh mirror. Nope. Local. Oh, so it's just right. Want to copy. Is there a way? Literally, I want to take what I have here and along this edge here, like copy it over. Is there a way to do that? Because that's effectively, like, it's basically a reflect rather is what I'm wanting. You'd use a modifier. Okay, let's try a modifier then. A mirror modifier. There we go. Okay, so we've got that in there. Got along. Got the bisect, you got there. Ah, I see. Right. So, if I just delete that, I'm assuming what I need to do is with that selected. Right, let's Control A, location, then do a mirror. Nope, that hasn't. Okay. Yeah. Oh, what? How do I keep turning snapping on? Okay, and then I assume if I apply this, then I have it set like that. Oh, fantastic. Hey, that took longer than I expected. Y and Z property. Yeah. That looks okay. Hey, we're slowly getting there. What I am going to do is therefore maybe not quite. Nope. Okay. Better. Probably throw a subdivision on there later. Okay. So, next up is going to be very simple. We want some more cylinders. These are going to be much and much longer. For anyone who actually knows Blender, this must be painful to watch, but it's a lot of fun playing around, messing around, getting things. Let's bit. Okay. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to that up to there. Duplicate those. Have along the Y. 8 along the X. Grab X. There. These need to be shorter again. And scale them along the Y. Along Y. There. Okay. Then probably duplicate this and scale it down. There. Scale it. That. Then we want to grab up a bit, grab along. Fill it up a bit. Then what I'm going that's all that. Grab along the X. That. Okay. So we've got something that is looking like a lamp. So what we can do next is actually add a lamp on. So for the actual lamp, let's see. I'm looking at my lamp at the moment. Probably easier doing it as cylinders. And then Yeah, let's do it as a cylinder again. So for our radius, we want it to be reasonably chunky. Now, so we're going to have vertices to this and drag it up. So what the plan is, I want in here of all these. Tell them just bit context up. That's going to be the top part. That is going to be solid. Then I want another cylinder, which is about the same. Alright, so about there. What I want there. Out about there. This want to then extrude down here. Open up like that, and then what I'm going to do, if I am doing this right, do that and delete base, and I'm going to put them up here. Delete base. So now I've got that, and what I'm going to do. Oh, I should have done that as a separate mesh. Okay. So if I oh, so that has... Oh. Okay. I take that and just hit down. On here, I can tab in. Okay. Select all. X. Okay. Getting. Oh, that is why. Well, it selected them all. Wireframe. Do a bunch of stuff. Get rid of cylinder 010. There we go. Ah, there we go. Now it's got X-ray mode on. So, now I've got all that done. Now I can go mesh, separate by selection. There we go. Alright. That. Select that. Okay. Actually, I don't even need to do that. What I want to do here is add a... I can't remember what one it is. Solidify. That should... Offset, I want to be +1, I believe. No. 1. Oh yeah, because it is slightly bigger. Okay, so that gives us our basics of our lamp. So let's try a few other bits and pieces. Let's try a push button switch on top. So we'll create another cylinder. Nail this all the way down. Then we don't need that many vertices. Okay. And I'm going to up. X. No. Seven now. There we go. Hey, I'm slowly getting used to all these hotkeys. The key one is remembering that it is like GZ or SZ for grabbing along like the Z axis rather than ZG. It is really annoying that it's like, oh, you're going along, you want to limit to an axis where you've got sort of G for grab, S for scale, and you want to go along the Z axis or the X axis. It's like, oh, those are all nicely under my left hand. What about if you want to go along the Y axis? Well, I've got a split keyboard, so it's on the other side of the keyboard, so it's makes it less ergonomic. Right. I'm gonna have this here. And yes, let's let the face extrude in. Just a bit. Gonna extrude in a bit. Extrude. Up. Bit more. Go. Got a push button on the back for turning it on. I think the last thing we need is a light bulb, but unfortunately that is going to have to wait for the next time I'm doing Blender stuff, because I have to go because I have got stuff to do and have to finish early today. So what I'm probably going to do is over the weekend I'm going to try and do another stream, probably on Sunday, to try and get some more done on Streamline, because I want to get adding audio files to the app done by the end of the weekend, so that we can get into all of the sorting and ordering of tracks in a playlist or in the tracks view. So we will work through that, get all that done. Well, yeah, so probably on Sunday, and then Monday it all does depend, because that's when the new computer is supposedly coming. Now at this point I do not trust estimates of any like delivery company, so we will see whether that happens. But if it does come, I may be setting stuff up, so I don't know what time exactly I will be streaming, but we'll see. But that'll probably be some more coding, and yeah, I think that is it. So let's see if we can find someone to raid, and I think G-Hut is online, so let's go raid G-Hut. Just check. Yeah. So let's set up the raid and go on raid G-Hut and say hi to him. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. Thank you to everyone who came along from Ava's channel and stuck around. It hasn't entirely been coding. I mean, if you came along in the raid, you missed the coding portion. But yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with this, considering I'm still learning Blender and getting stuff set up. I think this has been quite enjoyable, and then I'll be able to start learning how to do stuff like rig this up for animation and everything in future, and get this done as part of my learning how to do stuff in Blender things. So, and then we'll be doing more stuff like this, because this is all part of improvements that I want to do to the channel, building effectively a 3D environment in which I can do my coding streams and make things a lot more interactive for you. But yes, thank you for coming along, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your Friday, wonderful weekend. Hopefully I will see you again. If you haven't already, please do give me a follow to be notified when I go live. And as always, happy coding.